Topping today's news, Prime Minister Davis set to meet the U.S. Vice President to discuss mutual national security issues. A man shot and killed in the Flamingo Gardens community. The Davis administration outlining priorities for 2023, and repatriations continue as the government fights the steady tide of illegal migrants. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jcn Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. Thanks for joining us. Prime Minister Philip Davis is expected to visit the White House in Washington, D.C. to discuss security and migration with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The meeting is scheduled to take place tomorrow, that's January 17th. During the meeting, the Prime Minister is expected to focus on issues of national security, including illegal migration and gun trafficking. Following the Prime Minister's visit to the White House, he will attend meetings at the Organization of American States, OAS, where as Chairman of the Caribbean Community and Common Markets, or CARICOM, he will outline priorities for the region and underscore the importance of cooperation in promoting security and economic growth. The Prime Minister traveled to Washington, D.C. today from Miami. While in Miami, he was honored by U.S. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson and Mayor of Miami-Dade County, Danielle Levine Cava, at an event sponsored by the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Foundation. Prime Minister Davis will return to Nassau on Wednesday, January 18th. Police are investigating a shooting incident on Sunday afternoon that left a 30-year-old man dead. The victim was shot and killed by armed gunmen just steps away from his front door. According to the police, the shooting unfolded shortly after 3 p.m. in the area of Bahamas Boulevard, Flamingo Gardens. Police initial investigations revealed the victim attempted to flee as the gunmen approached. Inspector Mikel Pinder shared more details on this latest homicide.
Upon the officers' arrival to the scene, they met the body of a male lying in the front of his residence. EMS were contacted, where they examined the body, and at that time they saw no signs of life. So far, we know that the deceased is known to the police, and what we can say is, based on our preliminary investigation so far, the deceased was along with 2 females when he was approached by 2 gunmen who shot him about the body and fled the scene.
Inspector Pinder says the 2 gunmen fled the scene south along Bahamas Boulevard. Now, while police did not reveal the identity of the victim, Jcn News sources identify the 5th homicide for this year as Hugh Tyler Bowe. Police confirmed that he was known to them in reference to a 2019 murder case. As investigations into this matter is ongoing, police are appealing to members of the public, especially those of you who may have been in the area of the Flamingo Gardens Community Park and have information that can assist with the investigations, to contact them at 911, 919, or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. That's 328-8477. Meantime, police are questioning a 26-year-old male of Dunmore Street in connection with a shooting in the Bainstown area last evening. A 24-year-old male of Rupert Dean Lane is in hospital in critical condition as a result of that shooting. Preliminary reports reveal that the victim was standing outside his residence in the area of Rupert Dean Lane and Dunmore Street when he was approached and subsequently shot multiple times by 2 males, both of them armed with handguns. The victim was taken to the hospital via private vehicle. Police are actively investigating this matter and appealing to members of the public who may have any information that can assist them with this investigations, once again to contact the Criminal Investigations Department. Meantime, police here in the capital are investigating the death of a prison inmate. The 44-year-old male died in hospital on Friday. Initial reports revealing that the prisoner was transported to the hospital by personnel of the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services after complaining of chest pains and breathing issues following a physical altercation. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of his death. Also from the prison, a joint operation at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services between Sunday evening and Monday morning resulted in a large number of illegal contraband being confiscated. The joint operation between members of the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Forces, the Department of Immigration, and members of the Bahamas Department of Corrections, resulting in 35 cell phones, a number of cell phone chargers, more than 40 shanks, those are edged tools, Wi-Fi boxes, drugs, and cigarette lighters shares all being seized. Officers from both agencies teamed up overnight between the hours of 10 p.m. on Sunday and 6:30 a.m. on Monday morning and meticulously searched the inmates and their cells. Further investigations into this matter are ongoing, and authorities trying to figure out how these items made or find their way into the prison with the view of prosecuting anyone found guilty. And finally, in this segment, as this is the beginning of the new year, the government is doubling down on some key areas of concern in the country. Press Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, saying the Davis administration is focused on 4 major aspects, the first being the economic empowerment of Bahamians.
Crime. Now we will begin the year with a major focus, as I said, on business development as well. The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center continues to invite entrepreneurs to capitalize on funding opportunities which will be made available, all a part of empowering Bahamians. As we continue to seek to empower Bahamians, the administration will not lose sight of the importance of education, a key component in empowering Bahamians. This year, the Davis administration will continue to disrupt some unsettling trends in education triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic. The administration is happy that in the last year, however, they've seen a significant gain in persons attending school. School attendance has increased significantly. School monitors have been engaged to assess student progress, and learning loss testing will begin soon as a focus on supporting students struggling to reach or maintain grade level standards.
Mr. Watson says another major concern is reducing the cost of living as it continues to be a burden on the back of Bahamian people.
The government, however, has put in place a series of cost-cutting measures, reducing the cost of food and medication through import cost reductions, so putting in place some measures, temporary holds, so that consumers can have some breathing space, and keeping those margins at where they are temporarily, so that people can have relief. We look forward to concessions to continue to benefit Bahamians as the government meets and determine what those other concessions will be in other avenues and relief measures. We'll make those available to you once those are determined.
The press secretary goes on to detail the many strides the government has made in its efforts to provide affordable housing for Bahamians across the country.
Yeah. As you know, the Pinecrest development is behind us now, with some 40 new homes that young Bahamian professionals have received keys to. Elsewhere, the Renaissance development in the southwestern part of the capital, Carmichael area, is also progressing well, with 46 foundations already laid. Central Pines in Abaco, 6 homes have been completed. 5 homes have been repaired to accommodate the Ministry of Housing's rent-to-own program, and those housing communities continue to have development. Eleuthera, between 4 to 7 foundations have been laid in a housing development that's going on there as well. Back to Abaco, I wanted to also mention, set to begin soon, a new housing development in the central area of Abaco, known as Pine Tree. This subdivision will be developed on a plot of land previously designated for housing development, which did not materialize. That's going to happen as well.
Another major focus is crime. Mr. Watson says the Commissioner of Police will soon release crime statistics and talk about some of the new strategies to address the root causes of crime in the country. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.